So what does day trading consist of, especially to all my traders out there that are profitable, that trade futures? You know by now what all the hard work it took to get you to where you're at today. A lot of people, most people, get into this business or want to start trading and they have no idea. They're jumping from one strategy to the next strategy to the next strategy. And these are people who don't give or spend enough time to see things through. What you have to understand, just because a strategy does not work today does not mean that it's not going to work or does not work or it can't be consistently a good strategy to trade. Lots of times people that fail at trading certain strategies that are profitable to someone else is because that they haven't put in the time to see things through and because of the market conditions that are constantly and always changing. You have to understand that it's not the strategy 9 times out of 10. It's just the conditions of the market are changing. So you have to change as a trader. It may not be a good day for you to take executions of taking, your long or your short entries. Or maybe just a simple fact is you do not understand the strategy because you're so mixed up in the mind of something else that you learned prior to, and you're trying to hold on to the idea partially of a strategy that you learned before, and because you are testing a new strategy, but then you got a conflicting issue or another strategy that's standing in the way. You have to trade one thing or the other and not bring a bunch of different things together. And I'm not saying that can't work sometimes, having confluence of maybe, using a fib level at a certain supply and demand zone and looking at, I talk about this in prior videos about the measurement of, say, for example, legs. If you truly want to become a profitable trader, you have the number one thing the two things I'm going to say this, that you have to develop if you don't have the mindset or you're not there yet is patience and consistency. Those two things are going to take you past the hurdle or get you over so that you can become a profitable trader. I see a lot of people who are part of the group, and trust me, I've seen it time and time again, new people that come into the group all the time, and not say they want to point fingers, but because something doesn't work, they like to air it out in a sense and put it out there across the Discord groups or any social media platform outlets that a person may have, created to help other individuals like myself. To all you individuals out there that are part of, say, the Discord group or any other part of this group here, say, for example, see things through. And I say that if things are not working out from you, then cut your ties and move on. Simply put, maybe you'll find something else that works for you. Maybe you won't. Lots of people are just, they are enticed by the idea of wanting to trade and they think they're going to become successful overnight. It doesn't happen. I'm sorry to say it. I don't care how much money that you have, because then you're going to start gambling. Trading takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of schoolwork in a sense. You have to go back to the drawing board to be able to educate and teach yourself how to do this thing correctly. All right. You have to understand the structure of the market and be able to read the markets each and every day, because the market is always going to do something different. You got to know which direction the market moves in or is moving in. Is it to the upside, downside, moving sideways? You have to understand things. You have to be able to understand which areas I trade supply and demand or high probability zones. And you have to also have be very logical in the trades that you actually take. Too many people are jumping in. It kills me because I see it on the Discord group, for example, especially a lot of newbies that come over, probably only been part of the group 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the case is. Guess what? They're taking every single area that they consider a supply or demand area. And that's not going to work that way. Okay, you are going to lose if you continue doing that. Let me talk about how to become profitable in a sense of, and it all is based around consistency. You have to have a plan for yourself. You got to put it in place. Okay, first you have to look at areas on your. First of all, what you got to do is understand which way the market is moving. You have to be able to determine the structure of the market, and that's going to help you determine what type of trades you should take. Okay. Long entries or short entries. I'm going to show you an example of what someone had put out and stated that it was a setup. Yeah, it was a setup and it could have been a zone, but the thing about it is that you take the time to look at it correctly. All right, I'm going to talk about this particular zone or location, but becoming a profitable trader takes a lot of hard work because you have to understand what you're actually trading and how many times a day are you actually trading. What times of the day are you actually trading within? You know, you have to put limitations on yourself as a trader if you want to become profitable. That's why now, I stated this many months ago in the beginning back at the top of the year, was that I was going to limit the number of trades I take personally. 1 to 2 trade setups a day. If I get one good trade setup and I'm profitable, I'm shutting shop for the day. Simply put, because the more you spend time in the markets, no one is going to get it 100% right. And that's the thing about it, is that some people, they'll be up 2 trades, right? And then they'll lose one and say, well, I won 2, why the last one didn't work? Simply put, because the market just didn't want you to win. Simply put, okay? Not every trade setup is going to work. We don't control these markets. You have to understand that. There are this big money that pushes the markets, and your little breadcrumbs or your little contract they don't care about it. Trust me, they are going to railroad you. So be thankful for that first setup you got and you won, that second setup you got and you won, and close shop. Okay. Now, if you're in this business to try to get rich, or make a bunch of money in one day, you're in it for the wrong idea. Trading is about building, compounding, and growing an account, okay? So that you can then limit the number of trades that you're actually taking, so that you can really just start ramping up. Say you were once trading 1 contract or 2 lots. Now you're up to trading 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 lots. And you're still at the same mark or position you were at before, just taking 1 trade setup. You have to put a limitation on the number of trades you're going to take and be consistent on that on a daily basis. That is the thing. Patience is important as well, because you have to wait patiently for the best setups. Let me say that again. You have to wait patiently for the best setup opportunities. So now in my own personal trading, I'm only looking for 1 to 2 great setups a day. All right. If I can get 1, I'm done. Also, the time period is an important factor when it comes, for anyone to try to become profitable. And most of the times, I'm either trading between that 7:30 and 9 o'clock window, or somewhere between shortly after 9:30, maybe 9:45 or 10 to maybe about 11 o'clock or 10:30, something like that. After that, the market could start reversing or doing some funny things. I don't particularly so much trade in the afternoon sessions that much. I prefer, because to get in my trading in the morning time, during pre-market and shortly after the market opens up. News, stay away from, okay? That's another thing. If you want to become profitable, stay away from major news events. Do I trade other sessions? I used to kind of dabble in the Asian session. London, I did not, because I don't get up at that time of the morning, or time of the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, my time, which is around about 9. 3 o'clock, yeah, my time in the morning, or your time in the morning, where, depending on what side of the, what coast you're on or where you're at in the U.S., London is typically like 6 hours ahead of us or whatever. So it's typically like 9 o'clock that time. So, but anyways, I don't trade London session because I'm not getting up my time that time in the morning. Asian, I did, but the market, there's not a lot of volume in the market around that time, especially when it comes to trading the indices. Maybe trading markets like gold, and gold is a market that I'm starting to kind of tap into, but I would say definitely so. The best thing to do if you want to become profitable is great at trading one, particular market. And specific, lots of us trade the indices, part of this group or the channel. So maybe the NASDAQ is a great market to trade, okay, or instrument. Just as well as maybe the S&P. I look at the S&P, the E-mini S&P. I like that market. I love the trade in the NASDAQ now. You do have the Dow, you have the Russell. So all those different indices there you can take a look at. Maybe, if you're interested in trading the Asian, then maybe look at some means of a commodity in a sense. All right. So, that's probably a good idea. The indices are really going to start pushing when you have, or start to perform when you have more volume within the market. And typically speaking, that's either London or the U.S. session. But I particularly stick to the pre-market U.S. or New York session, or U.S. session, and then the actual when the New York opens up. But that's it for me, okay? I'm only looking to trade maybe 2 hours max a day. That's another thing. You have to limit the amount of time you're going to spend within these markets or on your charts. 2 hours a day, okay? Make sure also to do your homework. That means as traders, we're never stopping from looking or studying our charts. Market shuts down, I go back and look at the trade setup or 2 that I've taken that day. I'm looking at prior, what happened always to the left hand side of my chart. I'm looking at to see where we may be at what was the prior day's highs or the prior week's highs, whatever, and lows. You have to study your charts to be able to understand what was happening prior to just as well. Another thing and how to become, well, not say how to become, but actually, how to become a profitable trader is to minimize your risk as soon as possible. Of course, you probably want to trade with stop loss unless you have a mental stop and you want to get in and out at, and you're pretty good at trading. I do that sometimes, because I know by the time, before I even get to a trade, where I need to cut the trade before they even, before, a stop hits me, or whatever the case is. My mental stop, say, for example. But I've been recently trading with hard stops just to kind of show other individuals where to place their stops at, in a sense. But you must size up the market and know, and I talk about it here on this channel, like, before I get into a trade, I already know where I need to be getting out the trade at. If I'm trading the area of demand, it's not at the back end of the area of demand, it's at the actual area where the rejection took place at, which I talk about that part of the strategy, or the strategy as a whole, in tons and tons of videos here on the channel. So please watch some of the videos here on the channel just as well. So you have to understand, your risk factors and practice proper risk management to get out of a trade early enough, because I talk about preserving the capital. That's the key to it, because if you blow that account, that's it. You blow your personal funds, and you got to go back to work and start making some more money to put back in that account, or to switch over from some savings account. You don't want to do that. You don't want to start touching your livelihood type money and putting it into your personal account. You want to save money, X amount, to put in, kind of put it away so you have money to trade with. Don't tap into your family's personal savings account and things of that nature, because then you start sabotaging yourself and your family at the same time. Okay, so understand that. So I'm just talking about ways to become a profitable trader. You have these control mechanisms, these things these measurements you have to put in place to make them part of your trading plan so that you can become profitable. Take it slow. There's no taking it slower at a slower pace and building in a small account is a whole lot more wiser and smarter than trying to get to the end goal at a fast pace. You're not racing against anyone. Okay. All right. If you're someone that's suffering from something psychological, then you may have an issue there. You may want to stand to the sidelines so you figure out what it is that you may be suffering with. A lot of people come into this business and they're suffering with fear. Yeah. We all have fear at some point, even when we get into a trade. The market comes back against us. Well, we gotta put on the radar has to come on to the fact is, okay, I need to cut my loss where it's at. Practice some proper risk management and know where to cut that stop at. You can control that. You can do it. You can get better at controlling your fear. But greed, that's a different monster. If you're suffering with greed, then you probably been suffering with that your whole life, and all you're trying to think about is the dollar part of the thing, or the money part of the equation. Take that part away. Like I say this, if you want to become great and become a profitable trader, think about this business as a means of like anything else in business. Okay, there's systematic things that go on behind closed doors. There's all kind of factors that affect the markets. Economically, the markets conditions change every single day because economic events that occur. Okay, all right. So there are things that affect the markets as a whole that we have to be mindful of. So you have to understand what you're looking at when you're trading on these charts, and know that these markets are going to change surrounding, the conditions of the markets are always going to change because of things that are always, constantly going on. Okay. The Fed's making an announcement, employment numbers, retail sales numbers, home sales numbers, all kind of stuff that goes on, that, is going to affect the markets. Just trust me when I say that. And it's going to affect you as a trader, but you got to be smart and understand when to stand on the sidelines and not trade. Someone asked me a question, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about how many trades do I take a day, and my response was well, I'm looking to take 1 or 2 trades a day. I've already said that in the past though, and in many videos. But also, I don't trade every single day as well, because if the market is not giving me a good setup, which I classify as a good setup, based around my parameters or measures, then I'm not going to take a trade. Okay, I'm just going to stand down. And it's better to stay out of the market and safe net or stay ahead, okay, and not risk your money versus just forcing yourself to take a trade and taking on all that risk. Okay, you're not going to be profitable doing that. If you're constantly trading every single day, taking multiple setups every single day, you're just playing a video game. You just in and out, just trying to take everything that looks like a supply. If you're doing that, then you have to think about it. What limitations are you placing on yourself? Are you really taking the right or good trade setups? Are you really taking time to focus in on the best opportunities? All right. This is all about, this business of trading. It's all about putting your thinking cap on and really understanding. And let me say this right now. One of the biggest reasons why most people fail is themselves. Okay. Understand that. It's a psychological part. It's themselves. Okay. The market's going to beat you every single time because you don't have yourself in check. You got to put yourself in check and understand and wait patiently. And if you're struggling with that, then the market's you're going to lose every account or challenge that you are in, or you're gonna blow account after account. So humble yourself, okay? Allow the markets to show you its hand and trade the best opportunities. I want to show an example right quick, just quickly, because someone asked about this area right here. And yeah, this is a supply area right here, and people always question, well, why didn't this work when it should have worked? Because it's a supply area. Do you think every supply or demand area is going to work? I mean, come on, common sense should tell you. The simple fact is that it's not. Truly, understand where are the better opportunities to trade from. I've been doing this for a period of time now. So if I see this type of movement where the market has broke structure higher and broke above its highs, and then we start coming back, and all these swings within this larger swing, these are just minor areas of structure. Okay, so you may be saying, okay, well, it's breaking structure to the downside. Yes, it is. Okay, and yes, this made a low, a lower high, and a lower low here, but did it break any major area structure? No. But it did break some structure area to the downside, but it didn't take out a major area structure, or I should say, this larger swing here to the downside. All this in between was just a minor area or minor areas of structure. We have not taken out any lows yet. Okay, we have not taken out a swing low, okay, to where we get a low, a pullback, a lower high, and then a lower low. That's going to tell me that we're probably in position of a reversal then to continue pushing lower. That didn't happen. So let's say that, for example, someone asked, the market is breaking structure lower. Yep, taking out some minor area structure, and we had a low, a lower high, and a lower low, but no, really initial break of and making it true low to the downside first. It didn't do that. Yes, this is a supply area, but the number one thing you have to do, and I talk about this, size up the market. Okay, size up the market. Why would I be interested in taking a trade off of this area of supply when there's so many gaps resting above here? What's above me? I'm always looking to the left and always looking to see what's above me. Does this make sense? This area here versus up here. Number one thing, where did the move start at? It started up here. When it started breaking structure to the downside, these minor areas of structure here to the downside, okay? Then it made another structure break to, a low, lower high, lower low, making a structural break to the downside right here, okay? But does that mean that this is going to hold right here? No. If I look at this move to the downside, I'm just showing you real quick. Look at this move. If you drew a fib, right back here is not even to the 50% area. The move started right here. I'm looking above me to see, are there any gaps that need to be filled back up here? That's above. Is there anything resting above this supply area, meaning another supply area where gaps need to be filled? Yes, back up in here. So this would be more logical. And if you see here what took place when the market did get back to here, oh, where do we hit at? Right at a 76.4% area at the top end, almost at the fib. But the fib is not important, really. I'm just telling you, based on looking at numbers on the pullback, this makes more sense because they covered the area and the gaps going back up. I take this supply area right here and go short. And you can see what took place here is on the higher base chart now. I'm not taking a trade off the higher base chart. I'm just showing you that there was a supply zone here and it makes sense. This does, okay? It get back to that area, rejects it. Once it rejects, it goes from 19,952 all the way down to 19,833, okay? All right, that was an over 100 what is that, like a 120 point move right there or so? So there's a lot of points that could be made off of that one setup. So this supply area, and I left it marked right here, is a no. Okay, I wouldn't have taken that. All right, so that's the problem that people are having. Lots of people I see traders are taking everything. Oh yeah, supply. I'm gonna take that trade. What's above you? Are there gaps that need to be filled? Okay, and then they go through the process of not being patient enough and saying, "Oh, I'm just going to take this because I don't know if it's going to get back up here." If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's part of the game that you have to play in this business. And if you can't do that, then you're in the wrong business. Okay, simply put, because you have to think more terms of being logical versus not being logical, and this up here makes more logical sense than this right here. Just wanted to say that, okay? So stop pointing the fingers and saying and thinking this because every trade setup doesn't work and asking questions all the time. Why didn't this work? Think logical. Think to yourself, oh, let me look and see why this possibly didn't work first before I ask a question. Simply put, all right? But anyways, to anyone out there, I'm just telling you the things that you probably want to try to put in place if you want to become a profitable trader. I'm talking about the time of the day. How many contracts are you looking to trade? How many times are you trying to trade a day? How many instruments are you trying to trade? Perfect one, instrument at first, okay? And then maybe if you want to, maybe you can look at some other things. But I would put my emphasis in one. Start with one and understand the movement of that particular market. And that will help you be able to see and define key areas to trade with. And then you can see them better if you want to kind of, move other markets into play as well. Bring them into the picture, okay? So just, you got to put a plan in place for yourself, because when you do put a plan in place for yourself and you stick to that regimen, then that's where it's going to help you start to become a profitable and consistent trader. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? I know I kind of rambled in this video, but I'm trying to bring a lot of good information, tidbits of things, and kind of pull them together, and also show an example of what I would trade versus what I wouldn't trade. Again, this quick example here. Market broke structure lower. Am I going to take trades at the lower end where there are other areas of supply down below? No, I'm going to get back up here and look for areas at the top end of this leg here where the market could possibly reject it. I covered this, I think, in yesterday's video, this example right here, because this was a trade that anybody should have, and everybody should have been looking for opportunity to go short up in this area right here. Okay, the market came back. It showed its hand several times, rejecting this area here. All right, which was resistance as well, but we're also at an area of supply right here. It rejected it and broke lower. Okay, that was probably, for me, that was the only trade setup I took that day. And I waited. I saw it get up there after the market opened up around about 10:30. Was around my time where I'm going to start to shut things down, but I saw that opportunity. I waited for it. Golden opportunity, sold off. Simple as put. I should have held that trade. And that's something I'm going to work on for myself as a trader, is allowing a runner to run. So maybe if I'm on with one contract, I'm trading with two, but in with two contracts, I'm going to take most of my contract or take a contract off maybe at 20 points. 20 points is normally the mark for me in which I'm looking to take out of a trade at on the NASDAQ. Pick up 20, put a runner in place and trail it behind to where I could have, capitalize on this right here. If you do that, I'm going to tell you right now, if you start to allow your runners to run, or at least allow one contract to run, even if you trade micros, let's say you're trading 2 micro contracts, take one contract off at a, wherever you want to take off at, wherever your TP area of preference is. If it's 20 points, you can get 20 points from the NASDAQ real easy, and then put a runner in place and let it move and do its thing. You're going to capitalize, because as you see right here, even though I picked up 20 points on that move that I showed and posted over in the Discord and I showed in yesterday's video, guess what? That thing sold off really good right here. So the opportunity to get in was somewhere in this area right here at I guess 865, whatever. It came all the way down here to 621 before it pushed back or pulled back. Okay. That was over 200 points off, on over 200 and some points right there. More than that, really, to be honest with you, because the move started at 900. And that's another thing. This was a round number. So there was multiple means of confluence. Supply area, there was resistance, and we had this round number at 19,900. That's enough confluence for anyone to get into this trade and sell it going to the downside. But anyways, I'm done with rambling. Hopefully this information makes sense to you. I'm just telling you that you have to be more logical and wiser as a trader if you wanted to sustain and make it in this business, okay? Hopefully you found some value in this video, guys. Anyone out there who's not a current subscriber, please take the time to click on that sub button down below. Make sure to turn your post notifications on so you don't miss anything or any of the uploads here in this channel. You want to become a member of the Discord, the link is down in the description portion of the video. Everyone that's constantly asking about how to join the and become an elite member for $6.99, where you gain access to the trade breakdowns as well as the video playlist and other important video content. Like I did a great video on market structure. That link is down in the description portion of the video right below the Discord link. Okay, so there's a link there. Make sure you choose when you click on that link to become an elite member, 2 tiers are going to pop up. Choose the second one for $6.99, because that's the one that's going to give you direct access to my trade breakdowns, where I go in deep detail about trade setups and the trades I took, so that you grasp an understanding about the strategy as a whole. Okay. Outside of that, that's all I have. If you found value in today's video content and you really, appreciate the content in which I discussed today, please do me the biggest favor and drop a like on the video. Take care, and everyone have a great weekend.